recent video games pickups video. So let's get started with a Nintendo Wii U game, Pikmin 3. So in the last pickups video I got Hey Pikmin for the 3DS. It's kind of like a puzzle platformer using Pikmin, and it was really fun. I enjoyed it, and I did mention that I had played the demo for Pikmin 3 on the Wii U and enjoyed it as well. So I decided finally to actually pick up the full game. Nice and cheap. Obviously it's in Nintendo Select, so it's cheap to begin with, but then it was on offer as well and I got it for about a tenner. So very happy with that purchase. Looks fantastic on the Wii U. I've only played a little bit so far, just to make sure it worked and everything, record a bit of footage for this video. I did have a few issues getting used to use the touchscreen and the stylus to tap and throw your Pikmin and things. I had a bit of trouble aiming properly with that, but I'm guessing that's something that I would get used to the more that I play. So very happy to add that to my collection. Next is Nintendo Wii, and it is Guitar Hero World Tour. Yeah, I like the Guitar Hero series. Just very fun to play. I'm not particularly great at them. I do have to play basically on easy mode because my hands aren't the biggest. I really struggle, going from the top button down to the bottom and things like that. So it's just a pain in the ass for me, So I always play on easy mode, but I do enjoy it, and lots of great songs, especially on this. Lots of great rock songs, obviously. So I saw it for cheap. I decided to pick it up. So yep, that's added to the old collection. The original Xbox, I picked up Rocky Legends. Already own this game for the original Xbox, but my original disc is buggered. It just constantly crashes all the time. It's not in very good shape. I got it cleaned, like the disc surface skimmed or whatever, and still didn't help it. So I decided just to pick up a new version of it, and this one works perfectly fine. So I'm currently playing through this. It's just a fun arcadey style boxing game, but set with Rocky. And the thing with Rocky Legends is that, as well as the story mode for Rocky, where you go through his journey, you also go through the journey of Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang and Ivan Drago before their fights with Rocky. So you see Apollo Creed going from the amateurs to the pros and going, building up to the championship. Apollo Creed, I've just mentioned Apollo Creed. Clubber Lang, he starts off in prison, of all places. Turns out that's where he was. He was in a prison boxing match. And then he gets out and obviously works his way up to fighting Balboa. And then, of course, you've got Ivan Drago from the Soviet Union, and he's in the military, fighting there before getting the shot at Rocky. So it's a really cool game. An Xbox 360 game now, very rare actually buying any of these, and it is Sonic and Sega AllStars Racing with Banjo-Kazooie. So I've been playing the Transformed game, the sequel to this on the Wii U as of late. I absolutely love that game, and I heard that I played the first one. I played the first one originally on the Wii and I thought it was shit. But then I came to realise maybe it's the Wii version not being particularly great. I looked up reviews and apparently the Wii version got overall better scores than the others. So I'm not sure what happened there, but I thought, I'll give it another go. I'll buy the original, see what it's like. So I picked up the Xbox 360 version because this has Banjo-Kazooie with it, the only version to have them. I've only played one race, and I did play as Banjo-Kazooie, and it didn't feel quite as polished as the sequel. Drifting was a little bit more difficult. It just didn't seem to handle as well. I don't know if that was the vehicle I was using with Banjo-Kazooie, so that could have obviously affected it, but yeah, it does still seem like a very fun game, and one day I will get through to properly playing it and giving it a lot of time and attention and see if it actually is good. And so that was the original Transformed. Of course, with the sequel, played the hell out of that. And then, as of recording this video, just released today, got this in the post this morning, it's the sort of almost a sequel to Transformed, it's Team Sonic Racing. Of course, I have the Switch version. This basically takes the gameplay style of the Sonic and All-Star Racing games, removes the All-Star part, which is a big shame because I like the other characters far more than any of the Sonic characters. I don't know half of these. Yeah, so we also don't get the tracks based on all the other characters as well, which makes it slightly more boring. Yeah, but what they've added here is the team aspect. So you now race in teams of 3, I think, so it's you and then 2 other players, either computer or player controlled. And you essentially have to try and help your teammates come in their highest place possible, as well as obviously you finishing first if you possibly can. So if you're in first for your team, it doesn't matter what position it is, as long as you're ahead of the other team, when you're driving, you sort of create like a golden trail behind you, and if your teammates follow that trail, they get a speed boost, and it also builds up, I think, like a team meter as well. Your teammates can offer you weapons, so if you're behind, they'll throw in a weapon to you and you can accept it. I don't know if you can offer them a weapon. I don't know how it works exactly. I haven't quite played enough of it to figure it out, but I've been able to accept weapons from my teammates. If you get hit with a weapon or something, you spin out a little bit, if your teammates run into you, you get a little speed boost and you recover really fast, so that's cool. If you like drive past them really close, like overtaking them, they get like a drift boost from that, so that's great. And so the overall objective is to make sure you and your teammates come as high as possible, because all 3 scores are counted up. So if you come in first, you say get 15 points. So you obviously want to get your computer opponents, your computer players or your human controlled teammates to come in as high as possible as well, so that their totals all add up really well. I've only played a little bit of it so far. You can actually play just an ordinary race without the team aspect. That was the first thing I tried, and the controls and the mechanics are fantastic still, just the same sort of in AllStars Racing Transformed. Drifting is perfect, but I did find it a bit more difficult. The best place that I came in that single race was 9th. I finished 9th overall. But I was doing really well, I thought. I just couldn't seem to get ahead of the other players at the time. Yeah, and then I played a team race, and that was great. I actually came in first in that, because I activated like the team special. We were just sort of boosted. We were really fast along. It's kind of like the Transform special in Transformed. You build up a meter, and then it would be like a super special. And you'd go really fast, and any cars that got near you would get destroyed. Yeah, so I managed to come in first, and I think the others came in like 10th and 15th or whatever it is, and because of the way the points, the team that came in first came in 2nd, 3rd and 4th overall, so their points obviously boosted them up to the top. I came in 2nd place with my team thanks to me coming in first and getting a decent amount of points. You can also collect rings in the game, and those add extra points as well. I think to your team, so that's another thing. Try and collect as many rings as possible. Obviously you get hit, you lose rings, and other players can collect them, so you want to try and avoid that. The weapons as well so far, different from AllStars Racing Transformed. I haven't seen them all yet, but there's like a random blue block that you drop that you obviously smash into. You get a boost, you get an eagle that flies out, it's like a homing missile and attacks. You can also get an ordinary missile. Then there's one, I don't know what it is, but I kind of turned into like almost like a circular saw and just boosted along a bit. Yeah, so it's really weird that, but yeah, so far, like I said, I've only played the single race, and then I played a team race, and I'm very much enjoying it. Like I said, the mechanics are fantastic, just like the way in Transformed. So now the team aspect, I'm really looking forward to getting more into depth with that. You also unlock tokens as you play along, and I think you can use that to buy extra parts for your car, to customise it and improve your stats and things like that. So that's definitely something I want to do as well. I was also very surprised when I started out. I did that single race, and normally when you get your kart games, you only have access to a few tracks at first, especially like in Mario Kart. You might get access to the first 2 cups of tracks, and then you have to play the rest to unlock. And there were quite a few tracks to start off with. There are some unlocked, but you had access to a bunch of them at the beginning, so there's a big variety there. although I only played the one track with both races just to see how it was. Yeah, so that just came out today, time of recording this video. This video is probably going to come out a few days later. But yeah, very happy to have it, got it on the Switch here. Performance wise on the Switch, I have no issues with it so far. I think it only runs at like 30 frames a second as opposed to 60 on the other consoles, although apparently that dips. And personally, I didn't notice anything, it played perfectly fine to me at 30 frames a second, so yeah, great game. Some more Switch titles. This one, I don't know how to pronounce, never heard anyone say it out loud. Is it Poi? I'm going to go with Poi Explorer Edition. For the Nintendo Switch here. It is a 3D platformer. I originally played this through Steam on the PC about a year or so ago, and it was nice and cheap, and yeah, it's just a really fun 3D platformer. Obviously it's an indie platformer, so it was only developed by a few people at most, I think. I'm not sure how many people were behind it, might have even been a single person. Yeah, so it kind of reminds me a lot of Mario Sunshine in the way that levels, in the way that they start with the screen for what challenge, normally you go for a shine. This you get Explorer medals, and that the splash screen that comes up for you to choose which one you want to do. That reminds me a lot of Sunshine. The first level you start off and you jump down and you go down water on a hill, and that reminds me of the first level in Sunshine as well. You also got the bouncy ropes and things like, and a windmill in the first level. That again reminds me of the first level in Sunshine, and the game really does play a lot like that. So that's really fun. You also get different explorer tools to use, so you can like dig up treasure and use a compass that'll point you in the direction towards collectibles and things like that. Yeah, it's just a really fun, well-controlling game. The camera's really good as well, very impressed with that. So the fact that it was on the Switch and you can get it for under 20 quid, fun 3D platformer on physical, I had to pick it up. So that's that, very cool. And next on the Switch, this was a birthday present from my friends. It is Kirby Star Allies. It's a Kirby game, except you don't just play it alone, you have 3 other characters with you. I'm assuming you can do that multiplayer with friends, but I'm on my own, so it's just me and the computer. And basically, when you come across enemies, you can throw a heart at them and you'll befriend them. Mr. Willie has arrived. Hello, Mr. Willie. Yeah, so you throw a heart at them and you befriend them, and they're on your team then, attacking enemies, collecting things for you. Obviously you can suck up an enemy, press down, get his ability, but then what you can also do is say you get the ability with the sword, and on your team is one of the guys with the fire ability. If you hold up, you'll raise your sword, the guy with the fire ability, you'll like, oh, he wants me to help him. And he'll make your sword a flaming sword, which increases the attack stat, and can be used to help solve puzzles and things. So you might be able to use your flaming sword then to break ice blocks and things like that. And there's a ton of different combinations and variations that you can use. There's also team attacks, where there's one where you get a hoover and you suck up all your allies and then just blast them out. And they just bounce all over the screen, hitting everything, destroying things, collecting things. That's really fun. Yeah, so it's really cool, getting all the different combinations together and that. It can get a bit hectic, especially boss battles. We got there's 4 of you, and you're just trying to attack one thing, and it becomes a bit of a mess at times. That's the only real complaint I have. But aside from that, it's really fun, and it's classic Kirby in a lot of ways, just with more characters to use. So yeah, that's really cool, really fun. Next up, we have a custom Game Boy Color game. This is Pokemon Perfect Crystal version. I got the version here with a nice DS style case and cover and things, but of course it is a Game Boy Color game and a nice custom cartridge. Basically, it is Pokemon Crystal, the game, with a bunch of like minor changes to essentially make it better, or perfect as they call it. So simple things like the ability to run is in the game. You can hold B down and you can run. And it's quite funny because running is actually faster than using the bike in the game. So when you get the bike, it's just, you don't even have to get it if you don't want. I got it so because I've been playing through it and I've just never used it because running is faster. So that's really great. It definitely speeds things up a ton, quite literally, by being able to run from the start. That is great. Other things, gym battles. You can challenge gym leaders after you've beaten them, which is again fantastic and does speed up the game because you gain more experience from gym leaders, so you don't have to mess about grinding through the grass, which is fantastic because some of those Pokemon, especially the early bit, give you fuck all experience. So yeah, that really is great. Been doing that a ton. I've got all my Pokemon to at least level 40. Some are level 40, some are level 50, a couple are in between right now, as I'm just levelling up to do the Elite Four. One of the other big major changes that they added into this game is that you can actually capture every single Pokemon from that generation, from that time period. So all 251 Pokemon are available in this game, which is great. For me personally, I don't really care because I've never actually collected all the Pokemon in any of the games. I might have done it once originally during my original first ever run of Pokemon Silver, back when I was a kid. I don't know if I did or not, I can't remember, but yeah, I've never done it since then at least. But I might give it a go with this one since they're all available, so that's cool. One of the other changes I know, because I read like the change log and things, is that when you fight Red, all his Pokemon are level 100, so that's going to be a massive challenge. I think they're level 80 in the original game, which is already pretty difficult to get to. So yeah, level 100, whew, I might not do that. It's going to be very difficult, but I might give that a go as well. And then there are lots of other minor changes with some of the translation errors that are in there and things. Some of the text is being changed around to make more sense. One of the other changes that I really like in the game is that Pokemon that would normally evolve through trades and things like that, you can evolve using a stone, and you can buy all the evolution stones at the large Goldenrod City shop. So that's fantastic. So, I've got a Golem, which is great. I always like having a Golem on the team. I've got Ninetales with a Firestone. I think you evolve with that and getting the Firestone sometimes can be very difficult. I have a Steelix just because I decided I wanted to try one. He's sat in the box at the moment, but he's there, just cool to have. Yeah, so that really does make a big improvement in the game. Don't have to piss about, trying to connect another game and trade and things like that. We can do it all within this one game. Bunch of other minor differences here and there, I think. But yeah, so far I'm very much enjoying my run through this. The only complaint I have is that the clock doesn't quite work. So normally it runs off the internal battery, and I set the time. It was 3:30 in the afternoon when I first started playing this on the Tuesday. It's currently a full week since it's now another Tuesday, and it's probably around, yeah, it is literally 3:30 when this is being recorded. Just looked at the clock there, it's 3:30. Yeah, it's currently only about 11 PM on the Tuesday in-game time for me. So yeah, so the game time doesn't run properly. It doesn't keep on going when you're not playing the game, and even when you are playing the game, it doesn't continue on properly from that either, because I've put in about 15 hours and it hasn't even changed 15 hours. But the one good thing about that is if you do need to change the time, for catching different Pokemon, You can do it from the menu. I think it's down being select, and you don't have to enter in some stupid code like you have to do with the official version to change the clock, so that is a positive. Yeah, so Pokemon Perfect Crystal, great stuff. Next, Captain Skyhawk on the NES. I haven't actually tested this one yet. I got this free with the Nintendo Entertainment System that I won. In a previous video I've showed that off. I won a boxed NES, so that was cool. Check that one out. I unboxed it. Yeah, this is the game that was inside it, Captain Skyhawk, and again I haven't played it yet, so don't really have much to say on that. Now for a couple of PS3 games. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I absolutely love it. You know, seen all 23 of the films now after Endgame's just been out, and yeah, love it. And obviously now Disney own Fox and the XMen shows, the series, the franchise. They finally own the rights to that again. And the X-Men films that Fox have done, I like a lot of them. But the worst one was the X-Men Origins Wolverine. Terrible, terrible film. However, the video game is fucking great. It is. I've been after this for a while, and I did notice it was about £10 for quite a long time, and I was just like, I don't really want to spend that on an old PS3 game that might not actually be as good as people say. And then I saw it a couple of weeks ago, £4 in sex. So I thought, hey, it's gone down in price, fantastic. Picked it up, and I am so glad I did. It's like God of War, that style of gameplay, but with Wolverine. So you're just slashing the shit out of people with your adamantium claws. And it is glorious. Absolutely glorious. It really is fantastic. I must have played about an hour of it when I was just testing to record footage, just mauling the shit out of people. You got a couple of special moves as well. Yeah, this is awesome, fantastic. And this version here is the Uncaged edition, which basically means they added a ton more blood to it. So when you're ripping people apart, blood flies everywhere. Yeah, can't go wrong with this, especially for £4 now. It's gone down in price, it seems. So yeah, highly recommend this particular game. And also for the PS3, this was the game I actually went into Sex to look for, is Fight Night Champion. I enjoy boxing games. Obviously I showed the Rocket Legends one earlier, that's more arcadey style. The Fight Night series tries to go more realistic with them. I've played a bunch over the years, and this one was recommended to me as being potentially the best Fight Night game in the series. So picked it up, and I'm terrible at it. I am terrible at it. So the first fight that you do in the story mode, because the game just automatically starts up with the story mode, which is kind of cool actually. And you're starting off and your fighter is in prison and he's having a prison boxing match. And I got my ass kicked, but I finally managed to beat it. And then when you're in the prison, there's a flashback, and you flash back to like the amateur finals or whatever, you know, like win a gold medal and things like that. And I cannot beat that fight. I must have done it about 6 times and I couldn't beat it, so I just thought, okay, I'll put it away for now and I'll come back to it another day. Yeah, but the fighting system seems to be really good, so yeah, I definitely do want to play this more and get used to it and get better at it and actually be good at it at some point in time. So there it is, Fight Night Champion. Oh, lastly then, we have a big collector's edition. This is, I mainly got this literally for my collection, a collector's edition for the collection. What are the odds? But yeah, this is a WWE game, and I haven't really enjoyed any of the WWE games in a long time, so I've been actively avoiding buying them until they go down to dirt cheap. But I saw this collector's edition and I decided to pick it up. It is for the PS4, it's WWE 2K18, the John Cena Seen Enough edition. Yeah, celebrating 15 years of John Cena and the fact that everybody's sick of him. Literally, that was the theme of the collector's edition. That Cena's been around for 15 years and people are fucking sick of him. Yeah, so get a nice sleeve, tells you everything and shows you everything that's included in it, and then you get this John Cena style box with all these different logos and things, or whatever. So let's dive in and I'll do a bit of an unboxing even though I've already opened it before. Yeah, so firstly here you get an exclusive John Cena Seen Enough action figure, which is going to forever remain in the packaging, because what the fuck does a 30-year-old, a 31-year-old now man want with a wrestling action figure? Not much. Yeah, so yeah, okay, whatever, you know, it's cool to have, I guess. Put that in there. See if I can get it back in the box. And then next we have this nice little slidey outy bit, where of course we get firstly, WWE Supercard. If you scan this you get some exclusive content. I don't know if it's run out or not yet. You get a John Cena card, Rob Van Dam card, Batista card and the John Cena Enough card back. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone can scan that in from the video or not, but there you go. I'm not going to use it, whatever. Of course you get the deluxe edition of the game. It includes the Kurt Angle pack, just like the Switch version that someone sent me the other week had. And it also, of course, being the deluxe edition, includes the season pass, which gets you obviously the Kurt Angle stuff. You also get Rob Van Dam, Batista, a couple of versions of John Cena. See if there's anything else here. Oh, there we go. Another supercard thing here. You get Seth Rollins, 3 elite cards and a limited edition card back. I don't know if it still works or not, but there it is for you. Yeah, so the season pass claims that it expires on the 17th of the 10th, 2018. Nope, still works. Added it, installed it, you know, put everything on the computer, on the PS4, sorry, and yeah, it all works fine and installs perfectly fine. Gameplay wise, I only played one match. I was Mark Henry and he's slow as fucking shit. I know they're trying to make it more realistic, but Jesus Christ, even trying to throw a punch, I was pressing the button and there was such a delay because he's a big guy and so slow. I was getting punched 2 or 3 times while Mark Henry was attempting a punch in the game. So yeah, I'm probably not going to play it. Certainly not anytime soon. And then lastly, sort of the big part of this collector's edition. Oh, a nice special little box here. Let's get this out. There we go. All that nicely bubble wrap. Nice little collector's piece here. And what this is a signed picture of John Cena, hand signed, and a piece of the ring canvas from the 2017 Royal Rumble. And what's special about that is, it's the night John Cena won his 16th world title to match Ric Flair. Although technically Ric Flair has about 20 or 22 or something like that, but 16's the recognised from WWE. Yeah, so that's the night that he won, and look, a tiny wee piece of the ring canvas. A nice little display case here. You got a little bit on the back so you can hang it up if you want. Yeah, so a cool collector's item, absolutely. So when this first came out, obviously in October 2017, I'm guessing, because the season pass lasted a year for when it was supposed to expire. Yeah, this came out £120. £120 for the game, the season pass, an action figure, and a tiny, like 2cm by 2cm square piece of ring canvas from the Royal Rumble 2017, which, let's face it, could be from any old ring canvas that WWE have access to and decided to cut up. We don't know. £120. I genuinely feel absolutely sorry for anybody who paid that amount for this, because it is in no way worth that money at all. How much did I pay for it? £24.95, which is why I got it. And of course it was brand new, it was still sealed. So yeah, I'm happy paying that for it for this, right, cool collector's item if it is legit, from WWE. They're telling us it is, so we'll have to take the word for it. But yeah, so for £24.95, I'm happy with my purchase for it. It is a cool thing to own. But if you paid £120 for this at launch, you poor bastards, because it really is not worth anywhere near that amount of money. But if you do want to get it for this price, I think it is still currently selling for that price, obviously here in the UK. Thegamecollection.net, I believe. I think it's .net, not like .com or anything. Just search the Game Collection. Search for WWE 2K18. It's only the PS4 version, no Xbox One or anything. But yeah, if they've still got it in stock, £24.95, and you can add the John Cena Seen Enough collector's edition to your collection. And finally, before we go, I'm just going to, I've got my Switch here, I'm just going to boot it up, because I always forget some digital games that I picked up. We have first Superhero Fight Club Reloaded on the Nintendo Switch. I got this for free. I got an email yesterday from when I recorded this video, so it'll be Monday the 20th. I got an email from NintendoLife.com, a great Nintendo news website. And it's like, oh, you've got a code for a game. It's like, okay, I must have entered a competition a while ago, completely forgot. So I clicked on it, got a link, and got a code for that game. So that's cool. And it's kind of like a fighting game, but with really weird mechanics. But I've only played it once, just before this video actually, just to see what it was. And I was really into it actually. It was really weird. I played a character called Anonymous, and his weapon was a computer mouse. And I tried the sort of the ladder mode, kind of like in most fighting games. Mortal Kombat mainly comes to mind. And you start off on a screen, and there's different objects and a couple of power-ups, and you kind of like, it's as if you've got a jetpack and you have to sort of float around your enemy, and you have to hit your enemy with your weapon first. Basically, the first person to get 3 hits wins. And obviously mine was a computer mouse, and it sort of stretches out, and then you have to try and sort of swirl it around you to try and hit the enemy. Very difficult, but I was really getting into it. For some reason I would always take 2 hits first, and then make a comeback and hit him 3 times in a row and win. So it seems strangely addictive, so that's really cool. I can't imagine it's an expensive game in general, but there it is. Next up, Konami releasing a ton of games for their 40th anniversary or something. So the first one I picked up was the Arcade Classics collection. I'm actually just going to boot it up here because I can't remember what's included. I'll obviously have game footage over this. So the first was the Arcade Collection. I decided to pick it up straight away just because I enjoy these kind of games. So the first one is Vulcan Venture. Then we have Thundercross, Scramble, Twin Bee, Nemesis, Life Force, Typhoon, Haunted Castle. So the majority of these are shoot 'em ups basically, overhead or side scrolling shooters with, you know, ships or planes and things like that, and you know, you collect power ups and things, and they're just a ton of fun. But the main game I sort of got this for, believe it or not, was Haunted Castle, because it was essentially the arcade version of Castlevania, I believe, before the original Castlevania was even released. So it does play a lot like Castlevania. It's even more difficult, but yeah, it's just a cool addition to have on the Nintendo Switch. And of course, because these are arcade games, and when it comes to lives, you can literally just press a button continuously to give yourself extra, as if you've inserted a coin to get more lives. So if you have the patience, you can play through all these games in full. It doesn't matter if you keep dying, you'll just keep inserting a coin and coming back to life. So you know, that's really fun to do. And then of course next, with the Castlevania collection, the Konami Anniversary Collection, is the Castlevania Collection, with, shockingly, a bunch of Castlevania games. So yeah, I love the Castlevania series. I don't own any physical Castlevania games with the exception of one of them for the PS3. Crazy, just because, you know, it is more expensive to get them on cartridges these days than the older ones. But obviously I do own the Mini NES and the Mini SNES, which have Castlevania games on. But it's great now to have them on a handheld on the Switch. And the games that we get here is the original Castlevania, of course, Castlevania II, Simon's Quest. Yeah, not the greatest, but it's on there. Castlevania III, Dracula's Curse, which is really good. Super Castlevania 4, which is a freaking masterpiece. And then a couple of things that I was really excited to get on this collection, because I've never played them before, the Castlevania Adventure and Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, which were both Game Boy titles. Now the first one is unfortunately pretty bad because it runs slow as hell and just isn't very playable. The sequel is a ton better with a great soundtrack as well. And I love the special features that you can get, obviously, with your screen filters and things. You can have how it was originally, pixel perfect, widescreen. But what's special about the two Game Boy titles is that you can have a filter on it for the original, you know, the green and black screen colour of the Game Boy, which is cool. Or you can choose the colour version, as if you put it in a Game Boy Color or a Super Game Boy and it tried to add colour to it. So that's just really cool as well to add. Scan lines as well, if you want them. Then there is Castlevania Bloodlines, also known as Castlevania The New Generation. That was a Mega Drive game, I believe, and very expensive to get. It's also coming out on the Mini Mega Drive later this year, but it's great to be able to play it here as well, especially on handheld. And lastly, a kind of odd pick, but one that I was pretty happy with, and that is Kid Dracula, a Game Boy title. I believe it was released on the NES, but only in Japan, so the Famicom. But we got a Game Boy port, and it is getting pretty expensive these days. But yeah, you're basically a Kid Dracula. It's sort of a cutesy, fun game, but it's got a very cool soundtrack and lots of sort of Castlevania style action, but a bit different. You know, it's really nice to have this include. People always say, oh, why not Symphony of the Night and Dracula X Chronicles? It's like, I understand people would want them, and it would be great to play Symphony of the Night on the handheld here like this, but I own those two games on the PS4. They released them as a bundle. I own the Dracula X Chronicles port on the PSP, which you can unlock the original version, and Symphony of the Night on it, so that's also on a handheld. Obviously it's not the Nintendo Switch, but those are options out there for people, so I'm cool that we've got those Game Boy versions and Kid Dracula and Bloodlines. Yes, they could have done better by giving us the remake of the first Castlevania Game Boy game, which was on WiiWare and is no longer available to purchase. I'm very sad about that. I can't believe I missed out on that and didn't buy it. So that would have been nice to have on here, but yeah, we got an original version of games, so It's great. We're also getting soon, I believe, a patch that will be added on to give us the Japanese versions of the games. If that's your thing, cool. So yeah, those are some digital games that I've got recently, especially on the Nintendo Switch. Phew. So yeah, quite a few games, a bunch of really cool ones. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of my pickups. Let me know what pickups you've got recently, and if there's anything that I should look into buying for the next video. So I'm bigcal, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.